Live on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Still to this day, having been raped as a child has left a darkness in my soul that I cannot shake.
Tonight, we're hearing from a sex abuse survivor who came forward for the first time today after settling a lawsuit against the St. Louis Archdiocese for $1 million. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Jonathan Dean says a former priest abused him when he was a child in the 1990s. Justina Coronel attended a news conference today and joins us live from the Cathedral Basilica. Justina.
Yeah, Jonathan Dean said he was raped when he was 10 years old. Now, earlier today, he talked about his experience and his life since then. Now, Dean first came forward in 2017 saying he was abused by former Father Gary Paul Wolken. A year later, he filed a civil suit against Wolken and the Archdiocese of St. Louis. Now, that lawsuit was settled for $1 million. And in 2002, Wolken was convicted of abusing a different boy in 1997. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison and released in 2015. He was also removed from the Archdiocese in 2007. Now, Dean said his life changed forever after the abuse, finding himself facing addictions and self-destruction behaviors. Now, after graduating law school, he found a community that empowered him to move forward and speak out.
If they come to you and they tell you what happened to them, how they were victimized, how they were traumatized, how they are struggling, please listen. Recognition by another human being is far and away the most important recovery that any survivor can get.
Now, the Archdiocese of St. Louis did release a statement saying, in part, it's important to know whether or not victims of abuse file a lawsuit. They may still seek and receive assistance from the Catholic Church. In this particular case, Mr. Dean opted to engage legal representation and filed a lawsuit anonymously instead of approaching the Archdiocese directly for assistance. Despite the absence of criminal charges and other mitigating factors, it was the Archdiocese which proposed a settlement process with an experienced mediator through which a mutual agreement between Mr. Dean and the Archdiocese of St. Louis was reached. Now, to read that full statement, you can head to our website, KSTK.com, and go to the section as seen on TV. Reporting in the Central West End, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
Protesters calling for a ceasefire in Gaza are now in West St. Louis County. This is a look at the protest on Manchester near Weidman. There are also some Israel supporters gathered in the same area. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators have been taking part in a global day of action holding protests around the St. Louis area today. Within the last hour, the protest caused some traffic backups. There is a heavy police presence in the area.
Tonight, we're hearing from neighbors about a murder in the Metro East. 21-year-old Tyrese Owens was found dead in a ditch yesterday. This was near his apartment on Loop Street in Collinsville. He had a deep cut on his body. Neighbors say they want whoever committed the crime to turn themselves in.
Please just step forward, just go ahead and step forward. Things happen. We all know that, but we have a family down here who's devastated over the loss of a son, a grandson, a brother, and that's the hard part.
The Major Case Squad is investigating, and anyone with information should call them at 618-344-2131.
A grand jury has indicted a now former St. Louis County officer accused of firing shots at a trunk or treat event. Matthew McCullough faces more than a dozen charges from the incident last month. He is accused of making threats and shooting his gun into the air during the event at North Kirkwood Middle School. A group of people tackled him and took away his gun. He later resigned from the police department. Cities can plan for development like where to allow a Starbucks and where new buildings can go, but they can't tell a creek which way to wind.
The leaders of Wildwood in St. Louis County, they know that, and that's the problem. Wayward Watershed is taking over, and it could cost taxpayers thousands. 5 on your side's Tracy Hinson is live by Caulk Creek tonight with more on what the mayor wants to do about it. Tracy?
So Mike and Kelly, right now I'm standing over Cox Creek here, and if things don't change, the bridge I'm standing on could be washed away in only a few years.
It's an issue because it's only going to get worse. The water runoff on our 9 watersheds is not going away. And if we don't address it now, it's only going to cost more later.
Erosion is a threat to private property and to public land.
Over time, the runoff has started to deteriorate some of our infrastructure.
Roads and bridges, things that don't only impact the people of Wildwood.
It actually also helps other cities that may be downstream nearby from, for example, Cox Creek, Chesterfield.
Cox Creek is the one winding its way through backyards and cutting away at the bridge.
Those are very much the concerns. And so, as we all know, what I call clawback, waiting to deal with things is usually much more expensive than when you first see the issues being presented.
That's why Wildwood formed the Watershed Erosion Task Force. And that's why they've asked for the state to step in.
So we asked the state for $500,000 to assist with this because of the large-scale nature of it, and we were going to actually match that with a 25% pitch-in, so to speak.
Missouri legislature thought it was a good idea.
It was great that the legislature passed it, but Governor Parson did a line-item veto of it.
A line-item veto isn't stopping Wildwood.
And I'm actually planning a trip to Jefferson City to meet with the governor's team to see if we can, in fact, get that to occur for this next legislative session.
Till then, creeks like Cox will run amok come anytime we have heavy rainfall. In Wildwood, I'm Tracy Hinson, 5 on your side.
Families in St. Louis will start receiving payments as part of the Guaranteed Basic Income Program.
Help is available for people who qualify. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings went to South City to learn more about the process.
We're here at the Carondelet Library in South St. Louis City, where for the past 2 days, families have been able to come into rooms like this one, sit down and meet with staff about the Guaranteed Basic Income Program. The city has allocated $5 million for this initiative, offering monthly $500 payments to 454 households over 18 months. That's about $9,000, which can certainly be a game changer for a lot of people. Today, residents in the next phase of the program sat with staff members and asked questions. The GBI program's awardees will receive prepaid cards.
A lot of applicants just need a little extra help getting us what we need, but all of the applications need to be included in the process with the correct documentation. So if a household was able to upload their income verification online, but another household needs help getting that information tied to their application, they can come here in person.
The program's application process closed on November 1st. There was then a lottery to decide which families would move along. Those people were invited to these sessions here yesterday and today. The first applicant should receive their first payment by the holidays. Reporting in South St. Louis, Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.